How will I know my students if I cannot see their faces or hear their voices? How will I be able to read their nonverbal cues for understanding? What is it like to be at a distance from my students and not be with them in a physical classroom? Can I really teach online? This module will follow 5 elements comprising an online learning environment: tools, participants, social practices, learning community, and outcome. Each of these aspects will influence your practices as an online instructor. The interaction among tools, participants, social practices, community, and the outcome create an environment for a meaningful online educational experience. Tools. Instruction is shaped by the interaction of tools, learners, and the instructor. Tools include any device that mediates or shapes the instructional interaction, such as synchronous and asynchronous technology, books, online resources, group size, online learning theories, and self-concepts. Tools constantly change, and in the process they change how we teach and learn. For example, new internet technologies, social networking sites, wikis, and virtual environments extend learning environments beyond our time and space boundaries. Participants. Participants in our online classrooms include faculty, learners, experts, and others in instructional support who each have roles in the learning process. Faculty focus on the learning process rather than on imparting their knowledge. Learners build knowledge by bringing global sources on the internet into the class to add content and challenge instructors and one another. Experts and others in instructional support can provide immediate assistance and resources to aid learning. Faculty help learners manage this complex, media-rich environment by orchestrating multiple views and pulling them together coherently. Social practices. Social practices regulate actions and interactions within the online learning space. Instructors need to understand how learners interact with their computers and one another. They need to help learners manage text-based and voice-based interactions to promote critical thought and deep learning. This involves skill in coaching discussion groups, providing feedback on the quality of online discussion, and offering guidance on expressing oneself online through text and para-language. As faculty change their mindset from being the primary source of information to guiding students in critically selecting content, what faculty say will become less important than what they do to foster learning. Teachers become more learning coaches than instructors who stand and deliver. They work with students' strengths and weaknesses, facilitate interactions, and manage digital resources and tools. The learning space becomes more flexible and individualized, and the role of the teacher transforms into facilitator. Learning community. Ideally, learning takes place in academic communities that recognize that learners are co-producers of knowledge. These communities are based on the idea that social groupings can facilitate individual and collective learning. Learning in community means acquiring new basic skills, including the ability to work in groups with persons of various backgrounds, to communicate effectively both orally and in writing, to combine independent and interdependent work to produce a meaningful outcome, and to use social networking and collaborative software. Learning in community means being engaged in the task of knowledge building around inquiry, rather than being engaged in knowledge acquisition and retention. Even in courses that emphasize individual knowledge acquisition, the instructor, at a minimum, becomes part of the student's learning community. Outcome. Outcome is the target of the learning activity. Outcome refers to the problem space at which activity is directed. An example might be the problem of changing a traditional course into a web-based course. The problem is shaped or transformed into outcomes with the help of mediating instruments, tools, and signs. Yesterday, courses were focused on content dissemination and acquisition, decontextualized from the daily lives of the learners. Today, courses are sets of knowledge demonstrations. Instruction helps students connect their experience of learning to real-world applications.
Created using Powtoon.